this early and he's up.
65, let's out and get a fresh pop. Here to mess with us. For a swimsuit edition. Well, this is the jacket. Fresh. On this episode of Pawn Stars, I got some World War II stuff here from my dad. The jacket, blue P-38. Some of these can be worth a lot of money. With the first 3 seasons of Sports Illustrated.
Back in the 50s, this is how you kept up with sports.
Got the first ever swimsuit edition.
Wah, wah, wee, wah.
I have an old musket here. Doesn't that be a little bit bigger?
Yeah, this is a really small rifle. Hey, did you check to see if it's loaded?
No. Ah!
Oh my God. I'm Rick Harrison, and this is my pawn shop. What you got there? Oh, it's you again. Trying to sell me something else, huh? What you got there?
I got some World War II stuff here from my dad. This is a survival kit.
First aid kit. World War. They had they had candy bars. They had speed, morphine. So I guess if you were shot down and hurt really bad, you could take some morphine and have some fresh breath.
I decided to come to the pawn shop today to sell my dad's World War II pilot jacket, a first aid kit, and a hat. We found it in his closet. It's been there for years. Maybe somebody who really appreciates it can buy it and display it somewhere. I'm hoping to sell these items for about $2,000 or $3,000. I might go as low as about $1,500. My dad was stationed in Italy. He flew missions primarily bombing trains and power stations. This is the jacket that he wore while he flew. He's got the airplane he flew, the P-38 right here.
Okay. The P-38 Lightning was a World War II fighter plane that was really unique because it had twin engines. It was so cool looking that the 1948 Cadillac had its tail fins modeled after it. I mean, there was basically 2 wars going on. There was the Pacific campaign against the Japanese and Europe. Italy was bad. I mean, when we first went to invade Italy, the Germans were dug in. They had good weapons. You know, they could dial the guns into 10,000 feet.
Right.
And all they had to do is blow up 100 feet from you. It would take a plane down. Remember, these things were like micro-thin aluminum all around them.
He was lucky enough not to get hit. Neither did any of his friends. He was just a kid. He even said if he was any older, he probably would have been too smart to be flying over there because he was 19 or 20 years old. They thought they were invincible, and he actually had a good time over there.
The jacket intrigues me, though. Some of these can be worth a lot of money. Do you know how many runs he made?
I really don't, but he was there, I think, 2 years.
The hat I don't think is worth a lot of money, to tell you the truth. A little moth-eaten, too. And
we could open that if you want.
no, I don't want to open it. I don't think any of this stuff is really good anymore, besides maybe the matches. The only questions I have is I know this insignia right here is from Italy. Okay?
Okay.
The thing that really weirds me out here, though, I'm pretty sure the P-38 Lightning was Pacific Theater only.
Now, I know he was in Italy because he had relatives over there. He went and saw him.
I just want someone to check this out, make sure it's actually not something that the ground forces wore or something like that. It's an actual flight jacket. I want to find out about the first aid kit because I've never had one. The hat, we might as well have him check it out while he's here.
Okay.
All right?
Good.
If these items were used by a fighter pilot during World War II, there's no question. I want them. But I've never heard of a P-38 being used in Italy, and that concerns me. So I have to have them checked out. What do we have here?
Got some civil defense all-purpose survival crackers.
What do they defend?
Hunger.
Sounds about right.
I came down to the pawn shop today to sell my crackers. These are about 48 years old, but in pretty good condition. I'm hoping to sell these for at least $75 today, but I'm willing to take $40.
So where did you get these?
A buddy of mine works for a real estate company, and they were about to remodel a building. Took me down into the old fallout shelter, and there were several of these cracker containers down there.
I love some of the ingredients. Propyl gallate and propylene glycol added to preserve freshness.
Sounds good.
Some you can't eat these. I guarantee you after 48 years, they're probably bad. The National Biscuit Company, you know who that is?
Now they're known as Nabisco. That was
right.
the name before Nabisco.
During the Cold War, many buildings' basements were designated as fallout shelters. This is where you would go in case of a nuclear attack. Nabisco was one of the companies that stocked these fallout shelters with food. Well, in the early 60s, a lot of people thought that nuclear war was inevitable and that we really needed these fallout shelters. They more or less stopped doing it because they realized it was stupid. I mean, if a nuclear bomb's dropped, fallout shelters aren't going to do a lot.
I figured it's a good thing for someone that's into Cold War, collectibles and...
I mean, it's not like really collectible, but it is sort of like a novelty. These crackers are a reminder of all the craziness going on during the Cold War, and I'm sure I can find a buyer for them. I'm just really glad no one had to actually ever open these things. So what do you want to do with this?
I was hoping to sell it.
What were you looking for?
They were going as high as 99 online. I was hoping to get around 75.
Really?
75 for some old crackers? Can't you do more like 35, man?
There's not a lot of them I've seen that are Nabisco. It's in great shape. How about 50?
I can do 40 maybe at the most.
45.
They really beat me up, man. You meet you in the middle at 42.
Okay. I'll do it.
Quick, go do the paperwork.
Yeah, whatever. Let's go do the paperwork, Sean.
I ended up getting $42 for it. I was hoping to get more, but the guy that was negotiating was driving a pretty hard bargain.
Hey, what can I help you with?
Well, I have an old musket here. I'd like to get rid of it.
I'm no expert, but shouldn't that be a little bit bigger?
Okay, yeah, because it fits like a kid. Usually these
Didn't really realize that, but...
It has a bayonet. I'm assuming it's military.
Maybe it was for small soldiers. People were a little shorter back then.
Coming to the pawn shop today, I'm trying to sell an old musket. Could use extra cash for something else I want to buy. I'm hoping to get $1,500. I might take $1,000.
Where in the world did you get this?
Well, I picked it up at a estate sale.
Okay. It's a lot smaller than a normal military flintlock of the day. I mean, it looks late 1700s. I know there was kids in the military back then that were like 13, 14 years old. Maybe they issued them different guns. I mean, everything down to the bayonet is smaller than normal.
Yeah.
A bayonet for this period would be like that big.
Oh, my.
A typical 18th century musket is right around 60 inches long. This thing is maybe a little bigger than half that size. It's really odd. It's not a hunting rifle made for a kid. It's a military weapon. I just don't know what to make of it. So what do you want to do with it?
Well, I'd like to part with it, sell it.
Okay. How much were you looking to get out of it?
Oh, I'm thinking somewhere around 15.
100?
Yes.
Okay. That might not be out of the question. I mean, everything looks good except for the size, which has me really concerned. Why would someone make a gun like this? I don't want this thing being a movie prop or something like that and me spending a lot of money on it.
Sure, I understand.
I mean, I don't think it is, but then again, I've been wrong a lot of times.
Okay.
Do you mind if I have someone look at it?
No, that'd be fine.
Let me make a phone call. I'll get him down here, and we'll get the thing checked out, all right?
Sounds good.
It's possible this could be like a scaled-down reproduction. Or it could be a child's military musket, which would make it really rare. I've never had one before, so this is something I'm really interested in.
The A2 jacket was a status symbol during World War II. The condition of it for being its age and how long he wore it is very nice.
Oh, magazine. Yeah.
It's the floor model.
Now, and get a 50 turns of what old age. Another more than shrugging off a myth. The foot rate run up more than making your shot count. It's being the last marksman standing. And all new season of Top Shot premieres tomorrow at 10 on History.
Earlier, I had a guy come in trying to sell some old aviator stuff from World War II. I asked some questions about him, so I invited my buddy Paul down to take a closer look.
Hey, Paul, how's it going? Hey, Rick, how you been?
I'm doing great.
I'm Paul Milbury of Military Historical